Yo, 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 what's good in the hood? So, recently, I have been rewatching all of the Marvel movies because Endgame is going to come out in March, I think? No, March? I don't know. April? March or April? And I really like Marvel, so I'm rewatching all of them, So I decided to do a little video about, just a bunch of cool facts and stuff between the movies. So yeah, it's just gonna be a bunch of like little details that you might not have noticed, or I don't know, links between the movies that you didn't notice, or things like that. So to start it all off, we have, so y'all remember in Ultron, there was the really fast kid, Pietro, whatever. His name was Pietro. And Clint, Hawkeye, whatever, he was really like annoyed with him, like, oh, that little well, and then Pietro went and like got shot like 10 times so he could stop Clint and the little boy from getting shot. And then he died, it was so sad, I cried. Well, later, you see Natalie. What's her name now? Natasha. She's FaceTiming Clint's wife because the baby was just born. And he's wearing like a little onesie and it says his name on it, and it says Nathaniel, his middle name Barton, and his middle name is Pietro. He put his middle name as the Pietro because he died. Moving on, we have Phil Coulson. So, in Avengers, Loki was a bad guy in this one. Loki killed him. See, here's the thing. It's not really a theory because it's kind of already said. So, there's that Marvel TV show, right? Well, he's in that, right? They just said he was dead. Well, hey, I think he was actually dead or something. And they were like, it was just like to get them motivated or something. But then in the TV show, they say that Nick Fury actually like did a bunch of surgeries and stuff to bring him back to life or something, like Frankenstein or whatever. But like it gave him all these horrible memories, so they just like blocked it out and replaced it with Fiji or whatever. So yeah, it's not really a theory because whatever. But it's like, why can't they just bring him back in the movies too? Because we know he's alive. Next. So this is just a question that I have. Like whenever Thanos snapped his fingers, what about all the people in like prison, like the guards? What if like all of them like disappeared and they were just like, oh, free? Or like in the hospital? Like what if they were in the middle of surgery and somebody just, bye? So yeah, like what about that? A little cool little factoid. In Iron Man 2, whenever there's that little kid and he has the Iron Man mask on and he like holds out his hand because the robot walked out to him and was about to blast him, and then Tony came up from behind him and like blasted him and was like, good job, kid. That is actually Peter Parker. Like fans have like speculated about it for a few years, but Tom Holland actually confirmed that it was him, that it was Peter Parker. Bruh. So cute. Next, we have the scene in the Endgame trailer. Whenever you see Hawkeye and he like turns around, he has like this, his hair is all shaved differently or whatever. He has a hood on or whatever. It said that he is actually, maybe like his wife and kids died in the snap or whatever. Died in the snap. And that he filled his role as Ronin. And Ronin is like this samurai warrior that he turned into him because that's what happens in the comics or whatever. But he's like this samurai warrior and all this stuff. And yeah. Next we have, so it's like this thing, like a link or something. So whenever you like group of movies, like the Iron Man movies, the Thor movies, the Avengers movies, like whatever, in each of the phase 2s or whatever, somebody loses part of their arm or their whole arm or whatever. So in Thor 2, the Dark World or whatever, Thor loses part of his arm, his hand or whatever. It's not real, but it still happens. And then in Iron Man 3, Aldrich Killian, the bad guy, loses his arm, but then it grows back. But he still loses it, right? And then Captain America, Winter Soldier, Bucky, has lost his arm, and then it gets replaced with the metal one, but he still loses it. And then in Guardians of the Galaxy, the first one, Groot loses his arm, and then, Rocket's like, oh, whatever, your tree, it'll grow back, and then it does grow back. Next is, okay, so there's kind of two in the Avengers one. In Ultron cut off Ulysses Claw's arm whenever whenever they were talking or whatever. And then in Civil War, Bucky also loses his metal arm because, Iron Man cuts it off. And Ant-Man, whenever Ant-Man, does the thing to Yellow Jacket, his arms just explode or whatever first, and so that's kind of like, he lost his arm. Completes the whole thing, right? The next little Easter egg is in Doctor Strange, and it is a quote or whatever. And it's whenever he's driving at the very beginning of the movie, and his buddy is like telling him all these cases or whatever, And one of them, I think it's the first one, it was like a 35-year-old Air Force colonel crushed his lower spine in some experimental armor. And so people have kind of like theorized that it's talking about Rhodey in the War Machine, because, he crushed his lower spine or whatever, but, Doctor Strange's like, nah, peace, dude. Next is just some little, like, Easter eggs, too, or whatever. So in Spider-Man Homecoming, there's actually, there's, the row, famous scientists or whatever in Peter's classroom, and at the end is actually a picture of Bruce Banner. And then also, whenever he's walking through the halls, there's like a mural behind him, and there's a picture of, I'm playing 8-ball with my friend, and I think she just won because she sent me a new game. I suck. Anyways, there's a mural behind him, and there's like a bunch of people on it, and one of the people is Howard Stark. Wow. Y'all, I didn't lose. I won because she shot the 8-ball. Yeah. Anyways, next is another little Easter egg too. So also in Spider-Man Homecoming, you see Michelle reading the book Human Bondage, which is about an orphan boy, like Peter, who goes to live with his aunt or whatever. Like Peter. Oh, what? Yeah, that's a little one. Next is in Winter Soldier. And this one's pretty famous. I don't know about famous, but well known. Nick Fury's headstone reads, "The path of a righteous man," which is also the quote of Samuel L. Jackson's character Jules Winsfield in Pulp Fiction. So people are like, what? Crazy, dude. Next one is also kind of like people, a bunch of people know it. Well, at the end of Civil War, whenever Cap drops his shield or whatever, there's a close-up, you see there's like scratches on the shield, and that's the only marks on there, because it's made of vibranium, and nothing else can hurt vibranium except for vibranium. And the Black Panther's suit is made out of vibranium, so whenever it scratched the vibranium, it left the mark, and that's the only mark that's on there, so, Next is, I thought this one was funny, was in Thor Ragnarok, Korg, the rock guy, he makes an ongoing joke whenever Thor first goes into the little circle or whatever, for like the fighters or whatever, he meets Korg, and Korg is like, oh, there's no need to be afraid of me unless you're scissors, because, rock beats scissors. And then later on, he's talking about starting a revolution, but he was like, oh yeah, we didn't have enough pamphlets because there wasn't enough paper, because paper beats rock. And then the last one is after the battle, big battle or wherever, and they're like going out, and they're trying to figure out where to go, they're on this spaceship, and they're like, hey, where's your friend from? He's like, oh no, Meek, he's dead, I stepped on him, because, Meek has those little scissors or whatever, and he's like, oh, rock beats scissors, because he stepped on him, dead, whatever. He actually wasn't dead, but That's all that counts. Another little ongoing thing is something is wrong with Tony Stark's arm. So it all starts in Iron Man 1, because, that's where it all started. Whenever a tank shell hit his left arm, and, that started all the damage. And then later in Iron Man 2, there's, like, a screen, like, showing, like, the trauma or whatever, and, like, where his left arm is like, bright red or whatever, because, trauma. And then later in Civil War, what's-her-face is, like, throwing all those cars off the building or whatever, and one of the cars lands on his left arm. And then they're like, is everybody okay? And he's like, well, my left arm is numb. Is that normal or whatever? And they're like, what? Whatever. His left arm. And then later you see him, and he has a sling on or whatever. And then whenever he's in the fight with Cap and Bucky, and he, like, falls down a little cylinder thing or whatever with all the little platforms, he lands on the platform on his left arm, right? And then later in Spider-Man Homecoming, you see him talking to Peter, and he's, like, doing this or whatever, gripping his left arm because, it's hurting, stress, whatever, And then also in the Endgame trailer, you see him sitting there, and he's, like, holding his left arm, and his left arm is, like, really, really dark or whatever. That's that. And next is Captain America's picture of Peggy. Is there whenever he dies, or, well, he hasn't died, but he crashes the ship or whatever. It's there with him, and then it also shows up in Civil War whenever actually, I don't remember Civil War. I think it's Avengers. And Avengers, whenever they're about to go fight, and he looks at it, and it's still there, and then it's in the Endgame trailer, whenever they're like, oh, is this about to work? He's like, I hope so, and he looks at the picture, and I'm about to cry right now, but it's alright. Speaking of Avengers, the next thing is just a little tidbit. Whenever Loki is in the big cylinder thing or whatever, glass thing, drop it, whatever. One of the guys is looking at a screen of monitoring Loki, and in the bottom is like the heat signatures, and there's heat all around him, but where his body is completely blue, like no heat signatures at all, because he's a frost giant. He's a frost giant, right? Next is in Homecoming, whenever Ned is bugging Peter about, like, what his powers are and everything. In the background, you hear the teacher teaching about the Sokovia Accords. Right, yeah. Next is a good one. So in Civil War, whenever Cap and Bucky are, like, the garage, I'm just gonna call it a garage because I don't know what it's called right now, is lowering from plane or whatever, and they're, like, waiting and they're talking. They're, like, reminiscing about the time whenever they rode this cyclone and Steve threw up, and then Bucky's like, this isn't punishment for that, is it? Whatever. So yeah. And then in Homecoming, you see Peter sitting on, I forgot what it was, but in the background, there's the roller coaster or whatever. That's called the Cyclone. What? I know, crazy, right? So this is my last one. So in the first Captain America movie, the first Avenger or whatever, at the beginning, Steve stands up to this bully or whatever, but then the bully takes him outside and is, like, punching him. He's like, well, you just don't know when to stop. And Steve is like, I can do this all day. But then he eventually gets, like, saved by Bucky. And then later in Captain America Civil War, whenever he's fighting Tony's like, I'm warning you, stay down. And Steve is like, I can do this all day. And then, he's about to get killed. And then Bucky saves him again. So that was that for this video. Just some interesting stuff. I know this is going to be a little wobbly because I'm sitting on my bed. But, I hope you enjoyed. Have a great Christmas. Have fun. Like, subscribe. Peace out, Girl Scout.